Hey, 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 and welcome to another episode of the Anime Dudes podcast. My name is the New Zealand Seal Eel, aka the Anime Dad. I just tried to make that up. It didn't work out as well as I thought, but that's okay. And with me, we have the incredible, the beautiful, the wonderful, the amazing.
Hey, hey, from the USA, Bjorvio!
Hey, hey, from the USA. Um, that new girl, by the way, not new girl, a girl who shows up in season 6, who's USA personified. What an entrance! This is just off topic, but what an entrance! Flying on
Yes, I know,
jets.
I know exactly what you're talking. I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, if America, that is America in a nutshell, especially in a verse of superheroes. Stars and Stripes is like, and not to mention her name is Stars and Stripes. Like,
Yeah,
it don't get more American than that.
no, it's absolutely perfect. I'm just sad that her accent wasn't more Texan. Like you know, it'd be great. Hi, I'm Stars and Stripe. I can't do it, but yeah, I'm sure you can.
Howdy, y'all! I'm Stars and Stripes, and welcome to the Anime Dudes podcast.
That should be the new voice of her. But we've got an exciting episode today. We're talking about some really, really exciting moments in the series. And before we get into that, we just want to thank you, as always, for your support, your feedback. And we've seen some Spotify comments coming through. We've seen some really good feedback from My Hero Academia fans and fans of cool anime in general. So thank you very much. Please share it around, rate it, and if you enjoy the show, that would be much appreciated. All right, Bjorvio, what are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about the provisional license exam arc of My Hero Academia, the final part of season 3. Well, yes, but pretty much the beginning of the end of season 3. Yes.
So good. I really like this arc. I really like it. What do you think of two people, two personalities that come in strong in this particular arc? But what do you think of Mrs. Joke? Is that her name?
Her and Eraser need to be a thing. That needs to be like, if it's not a thing, it needs to be a thing. I love her. I love her dynamic with Eraser. Like, yeah, she's cool in and of herself, but when you add Eraser into the mix, I mean, yes, I know Eraser makes everyone better, but still, especially her.
You're completely right. You're completely right. And what about her quirk? Do you see her? I think she could go up against someone like she could go up against the League of Villains and maybe take Dobby out with that quirk.
Let's do a quick fire round for you. All right, you ready for this?
Yeah,
All right, here we go. Miss Joke versus Toga.
Toga,
All right, Miss Joke versus Shigaraki.
Shigaraki.
All right, Miss Joke versus Cool Geary.
If he laughs, Miss Joke.
Good. All right, I'll do two more. Miss Joke versus Twice.
Miss Joke. He's gonna laugh no matter what.
All right, you already said Dobby, so I'm gonna do Miss Joke versus Spinner.
Miss Joke, of course. Spinner can't do much. But I mean, all right, one for you. Miss Joke versus Mr. Smiley.
Oh, Mr. Smiley, hands down.
That's a similar quirk.
Mr. Smiley. Oh man, whoever hasn't seen the OVA of that season, oh man, I think it's fantastic.
It is so good. Seeing Deku lying there laughing with blood coming out of his head, or Todoroki laughing, or Bakugo laughing. My girls, that's one of my girls' favorite episodes. They just constantly, every time they're grumpy, my daughters, I say, Mr. Smiley, and it gets a little laugh from them. All right, and the other guy I was talking about, I wanted to talk about, was the Earthquake Man. What do you think of Tremor Man?
Um, you know, he's one of those that I don't really it's one of those, he makes a cool impact on the season, and then later on I completely forget about him. And then
Yeah.
you're reminded about him in season 6, and you're like, oh yeah, that guy was cool, and then you forget about him again. But when he's on screen doing stuff, he's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. He is cool. He is. And it's funny how Bakugo sees right through him straight away. He sees his fakeness straight away. Everyone else is kind of fooled by him, but Bakugo sees that he's actually just a cutthroat guy. Final guy that I want your opinion on is Tornado Man or Wind Man. That guy.
I call him Mr. Headache because every time he's on screen, I'm like, oh my gosh. Either that or I facepalm and then I get a headache out of it. I mean, he's a great counter to Shoto, who is, hi, I'm Shoto Todoroki. It's nice to meet you. Compared to, I'd like to have all these wind powers that I create wind. And, it's so nice to see you. Tell me all about your quirk.
And keep bowing and smashing his head on the ground. He's obviously got not many brain cells, but yeah, I mean his quirk's amazing, and he's obviously very, very talented. And I mean, we start off with Mrs. Joke or Miss Joke talking to Razorhead up in the stands and saying, "Did you not tell your kids that every time this begins, you?" Every time this begins, Class 1A is targeted. Should he have told them, Bjorvio?
No, he should not have. I'm so glad that Eraser didn't. And, I think of other students, like All Might, or teachers. All Might probably would have told them. Miss Midnight probably would have told them. And Eraser's like, no. And you think, oh, it's because Eraser's a jerk. No, it's because he has complete and utter faith in his students. He's like, this is what the real world's like. And they need to be prepared for it. And my students are still going to kick all of y'all's butts.
Yeah, and I love the beginning. I love it when they counter. Deku showing off his shoot style. And that was fantastic. It was really well done how these guys all came for them. They got taken out, but then they got split up by the Earthquake Man. And then it moves on to they're all getting attacked, they're all getting taken out, but Bakugo and Todoroki want to split up. Do you think that was a good move?
I mean, it ended up working out for him. Do I think it was necessarily the smartest move? No, I think, especially considering, like, in Todoroki's fight, he goes against people that are just completely and utterly like, oh, we know your quirk, we have a complete counter against it. And it was a brilliant counter. Yeah, he ended up, getting the drop on him, but still, it was that's the danger of going off by yourself in that situation is, you don't know what, especially in Todoroki's case, you don't know what they can do, but they know what you can do.
Yes, and I mean it's the same as real life scenario. Like the Razorhead said, it's people see you on TV, they know what your quirk is. You're in the light of being a pro hero. People are going to know you and know what you can do, and then they're going to counter that in some way, shape, or form. So, yeah, really good beginner set. And what's your thoughts on Toga appearing as a naked Rarity and the other girl from
Cammy something or another, the illusion girl that we don't really see anything about until later.
Yeah.
Toga appearing there felt odd. I felt like they were going to do more with it, and I feel like it didn't really lead to anything. Maybe a little bit of development for Uraraka, who I'll take all the development I can get for her. But it just, I expected, like, her being there was great. I just expected it to go somewhere more so than it actually did.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think she got a little bit of Deku's blood, didn't she, at that point?
I think so, which does come back a little bit later, but that's next season.
Yeah, and they work well together in that particular test. Finishes off quite strong with Laser Belly blasting it into the sky. And all the team, I really like that moment. All the team come rushing towards him. Class 1A all gets through to the next round, and that was a cool moment for me.
By the skin of their teeth, though.
I
I
know, you're
mean,
right.
when you think about it, like Bakugo gets turned into a meatball at one point. Um, and at one point, Team Momo is almost completely taken out before they even know what their opponent looks like. Like it wasn't like Class 1A succeeded, but man, just barely. And thanks to like you said, Ayama at the very end, like if it, which is crazy because if he hadn't have done that, a lot of them might not have passed.
Very true. Very, very true. And I mean, I like how Eraserhead kept bringing it back to. He said there's two main people that lead this class. If they know it or they don't, Bakugo and Deku. And you could see their thought process in the whole of Class 1A. As they were coming up with plans to get through, you could see them thinking, what would Bakugo, what would Deku do? Gather together. And those are the blind, even though they don't consider themselves as leaders, those are the leaders that were pushing the pack forward and really helping Class 1A get through.
Speaking of which, I don't know if you've ever seen the season 3 bloopers, but there's a part where Bakugo's voice actor takes over the mic and starts kind of directing everyone. So he redirects all the scenes. And so there's a part where like everyone's freezing and they're trying to keep Sue awake, and Tentacle Arms is like, oh man, we could really use the fire. Where's that handsome devil Bakugo? And then it shows Miss Joke saying, are there any of your students that that you're especially worried about? And Eraser's like, says no. She's like, well, I know I'm not worried about that handsome, well-talented Bakugo. And it's like all of them just saying how great Bakugo is. It's amazing.
I'll check it out after this. That sounds like good fun. That sounds really, really cool. I'll check it out. And then obviously they move on to the rescue training portion. And I really enjoyed this portion. Deku got points
I
taken.
did too.
Yeah, Deku got points taken away from him straight away.
And he should have. And he should have. And here's why. You are, and like most people don't, I mean, people don't know about One for All. People don't know about his connection to All Might. But what is All Might known for when he gets to a scene? He always smiles. Deku points that out in the first couple episodes. And this is one of Deku's first chances to rescue someone. He's like, oh crap, he's in bad shape.
That's such a good point, yeah. And the guy who's like an adult child, yeah, reacts quite well. Good.
Is that his quirk?
Could be. And I love how they have a particular group of people that have a job that's dedicated to be people in distress. I thought it was really that was a really smart choice in the whole world of My Hero.
I completely agree. And I also really like the fact that it didn't stay just a rescue mission, and that and then when Gang Orca shows up and just starts wrecking the interview, how cool is Gang Orca?
He is a cool guy. I love his look. I love his voice actor. I love his power. He is a really, really cool hero. And he could be a cool villain as well, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And then the boys trying to go for him. Deku does well finally, trying to evacuate people, get out of there. But Todoroki and Windgust Boy fighting over who can take Gang Orca down. And to be honest, even if they work together, what are your thoughts? If they work together perfectly from the get-go, could they have taken Gang Orca down?
I don't know if they could have. It would have been kind of close because I feel like Gang Orca did mention something of, well, if that would have gone on much longer. But if he would have had more of his stamina, like at the fresh start of the fight, he probably would have had more of a counter. But I almost wonder if he kind of altered his behavior once he realized, oh, these two were fighting and now they're working together. Okay, maybe I'll just stand here, let them kind of get a little bit of a win, versus if it was at the beginning and he didn't know that they had those feelings, it'd be like, oh, okay, no, I'm going to smash your face.
Yeah. And he had those things on, those very heavy things on as well. I remember.
Yeah. Not that I felt like they did anything, but he had them on.
Yeah. And obviously, I love how it finished with Deku smashing his arm and there's little cracks appearing in it. I like Deku taking charge once again. Now, not current Deku, but Deku at that time, 1v1, Gang Orca, Can he take him?
No,
Yeah. Yeah, I
I
agree.
don't think there's any way, because at this point Deku has super strength, but Gang Orca does have too, but he also has other abilities that I think would prevent Deku from even getting close to him.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a good point. That was a good finish. And then they're standing there and they're looking at the board. Everyone makes it through except for Todoroki and Bakugo. And I I like that choice. I like that choice. Bakugo being such an arrogant, he needed to make those adjustments in his personality to be a better hero. Todoroki as well, being it's both really a personality change that they needed. They're both very, very strong characters with very great quirks, but they need that personality switch to make them great heroes. Deku's got that personality and needs to work on his quirk, but I like the fact that these guys needed some more work and a personality adjustments. What are your thoughts?
Completely agree. My only thing is poor Bakugo. I agree he should have failed, but think about it. He just recovered from being captured and in his own mind, he thinks he's the reason All Might retired. And now he goes at this sports festival, and not only does he not get it, but Deku does. His mentality right now is just like, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, that's another good point. And they have provisional hero licenses now. It's incredible. Deku has fulfilled his dream, and have you got Deku's provisional hero? Oh no, you've got his actual hero license. Do you?
No, I have All Might's actual hero license, and I have Mirio
Mario.
Togata's.
Right, right. I'm gonna get Deku's one, and then we can combine. We can just wear it constantly in the
We can
podcast.
work for the Night Eye Agency.
Oh my goodness, that would be amazing. That would be incredible. But moving on a little bit further to a fight that deserves our attention and deserves our
Mm-hmm.
conversation. Bakugo feeling terrible and feeling sad that he was the reason All Might lost his powers, and taking Deku out and wanting to prove to Deku and to himself his strength and his power. Um, Now, I know you have deep-rooted thoughts on this, and you're very passionate about it. So let's hear them now.
Okay. For me, this is one of those instances of the kind of fight that I love, and that I think My Hero and a few other animes do really well. Where in this case, the actual fist to cuffs fighting is not the focus of the scene. It's the psychology going on behind it between Bakugo finally venting to Deku and them, trying to work this out, and then Deku finally realizing this is Bakugo coping. I need to fight. And then the fight shifts from it being about their emotions to, okay, no, we're going to duke it out because this is how we cope with it. And so then it becomes about the fighting, but it was never really fully about the fighting. And it's I love storytelling where a fight has a purpose. Like I don't like just to sit there and watch a fight just for the sake of it being, oh, this is cool and everything. But then you put it against a fight that has a lot of psychology and storytelling behind it. Like this fight has been built up for a long time. And the
Mm,
fact that we're now getting it, and it's the emotions involved in it, is everything I could have wanted.
I agree completely. It truly was, and it couldn't have had a better ending. Bakugo
No.
winning was the right choice. All Might letting it happen.
Yes.
All Might stopping Eraserhead from coming and stopping the fight and allowing it to happen, allowing the conversation to happen, and then coming in there and saying it's not his fault. But Bakugo, in Bakugo's fashion, ends up doing what he normally does and saying, "I'm going to be better than you anyway, All Might." But no.
Yeah, and
Mm.
it, it's very interesting to like take what if, let's just say hypothetically, what if Deku would have won this fight?
Yeah, good question. What if he won the fight? Bakugo would not have been stopped at that point. He would not have been, he would have still been strong, and he still would have said, oh, I'm going to get stronger, and it would have motivated him. He's not the type of guy who would have given up. But as a viewer, I think I would have felt cheated a little bit. I'd been like, oh, okay. Oh, Deku's not even at full power and he can kick Bakugo's butt. And Bakugo's been working on this quirk his entire life. His quirk's amazing. He's very skilled and very incredible. Bakugo should have won based on his skill level, based on his quirk, and based on his mental determination. And also, Deku has that
I
ability.
completely agree. And
yeah.
I also think that Bakugo should have won.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that. And the biggest thing that I think came out of this fight was after everything was out on the floor, they became friends afterwards, which is such a big pivotal plot point from this point onward. If Deku would have won this fight, I 100% believe that would not have happened.
True. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point, actually. It's almost like I've got chickens. I've seen two roosters fighting, and they need to show who's the dominant one, who's the not dominant one, who's slightly under, who's in charge. And I think that's a really good analogy. I've got a chicken that's slightly green and a chicken that's slightly red. So I might actually, maybe I can do a rooster fighting ring and record it for TikTok or something like that. That might get some views. Thoughts?
Maybe.
Hey,
take it down, of course, but you know.
Do you have any improv scenes for this week? Any ideas that we can pump out? Because I'm keen to do some improv. This is my highlight. I'm not an improv guy. I've been trying with my wife, and she looks at me funny. But I'm keen to do some improv with you, Bjorvio.
Okay. I'm gonna improv an improv scene in the spirit of improv. So in the spirit of Bakugo versus Deku, let's go after the fight. Let's say that they've worked everything out. All Might goes, I'm gonna take you guys to McDonald's. We're gonna get something. We're gonna calm down a little bit. What is that car ride like?
Okay. Who are you?
I don't care. Either one's fine with me.
All right, you be Bakugo, I'll be Deku.
All right.
That was a really good fight, Bakugo. I mean, it was kind of a draw if you think about it.
What? Yumma. That's All Might. Bad me. Deku, you idiot! That was clearly not a draw. I had you on the ground and your face was in the dirt. We've already discussed this. I won fair and square, and I'm going to keep beating you. I'm going to surpass even All Might.
You're right. You're very strong. But maybe we should ask for extra ice in your McDonald's Coke to put on that eye of yours because it looks like it's going to be blue tomorrow. Huh? Hello. You're frozen. Hold on, you're frozen. You froze there. Say it again.
All right. Maybe you should get some ice for your face from all that time I exploded you into the ground.
Yeah, good point. Should we get we can always get you a Happy Meal if that's okay, Bakugo. Because you need some happiness in your life, it seems.
I want two. Number one hero doesn't just stop at one, you nerd. That's the main difference between me and you.
Well, just remember, I'm kind of at like 12% right now with my power and my quirks. So I don't know. We'll see what happens when I get to about 40%, Bakugo. You kind of at 100%.
You need to make this quirk your own and get on it, Deku.
You're right. You're right. You're right. I should. And you're gonna help me do that, aren't you, Bakugo? You know, we got each other's backs now, don't we?
Shut up! Don't say that out loud.
I love you, Bakugo.
All might, open the dang window. I'll fly to McDonald's myself.
Perfect. That was good. Your Bakugo's on point. I do feel like I'm talking to Clifferson, or whatever his name
I
is.
will say that very first sentence that I said is Bakugo. I don't know if you could tell on camera, but I spit all over my arm.
Luckily, it wasn't all over the camera.
Oh, and thankfully that's pretty far away. I'd really have to get something going in order to hit that.
It needs to be a howitzer impact for that to happen. You're right.
Yeah. I will say every time I do a howitzer impact on Zoom, it cuts out, and it makes me very, very sad because I feel like that's my prime Bakugo voice.
I know. I want to make that your. You need to send me a good thing of it. I'm going to make it your notification when you message me how it's impact, and it's just going to scare my wife and child every time that happens. But all right. Well. Can you take us out with some Bakugo and yeah, take us out with some Bakugo after that incredible fight.
All right, listen up, you nerds. You've been listening to the Anime Dudes podcast. I'm sure that dang nerd would want you to know that he's grateful that you tuned in today, but I don't really care. But tune in next week so you can hear more about all of my amazing stunts. Otherwise, I'll come over to your house and I'll do a howitzer impact to your face.
I love you, Bakugo.